guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome to DIY Art Plus. So I'm here with another painting, and today I'm gonna paint on a canvas panel. So if you are new to my channel, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and if you like this video, give a big thumbs up. Alright, so let's start with the material that I'm gonna use. So again, I'm gonna use this canvas panel. I got it from, let me give you this. So I got it from here. This is good for acrylic and oil, both type of pigment here. So I'm gonna use acrylic paint today for this painting. So let me show one by one what color I'm gonna be using. So this is rose pink color. Okay, so you can also take a screenshot if you like, but I'm gonna show you one by one what color I'm gonna be using. White. Okay, brown, and I'm gonna use two shades of blue today, darker blue and lighter blue. I'm gonna use two shades of green, darker and lighter again, yellow and orange. So these are all the color I'm gonna be using today. And again, if you like to just take a screenshot of this color, you can. And I got that paint from Hippie Crafter, yeah. Alright, now I already take my paint out on my paper plate. It makes it easier to paint. Now I always like to say this is if you are painting this first time, don't worry about it, just follow me step by step. Now one more thing I always like to say this is, don't worry, you don't really have to like completely follow me. Trust me, the first time I paint this painting, it come out completely different than what it's gonna come out here. So no matter how many times I'm gonna paint, it's always gonna turn out different, trust me. Alright, so let's start with the painting. Make sure you grab a cup of water and a paper towel to dry your brushes. Alright, so now the first thing I'm gonna do is start working on the background first, and then slowly work my way down. I'm gonna use a different technique today. I'm not gonna paint my whole canvas today. I'm gonna go slowly, little by little, step by step here. Alright, so the first thing I'm gonna do is work on my sky. Okay, so now I already shared an original painting that what I'm gonna paint. So you can think about how much sky you want and how much water area you want, the ground area. And yeah, you can go from there. So I'm gonna leave. So the first thing I want to mention is I'm painting on 11 by 14 size of the canvas. If you are painting on a canvas that is about the same size, you can follow me, but if it's a little bit smaller size of the surface you're using, try to leave a little bit less space on the top. But again, this is your painting. Yeah, okay, so just do whatever you like for your painting. Alright, so I'm gonna leave about, let's say, you know what, I'm gonna use a little bit of pink color here just to show you. So I'm gonna take my big brush. This is a number, I don't know if you can see this. Okay, so again, this is a flat brush. I'm gonna use this round brush. There is 6 number here, it says. I'm also gonna use this round brush. It's number 2 size. And my favorite brush, this is number 0 size. As you can see, I use this a lot. Alright, so let's start painting. I'm gonna use my big brush, and first I'm gonna just dip it in my water. Okay, make sure you don't have too much of water on your brush. You can also use a paper towel to dry your brush. Okay, now I'm gonna take a little bit of pink here. Actually, you know what, I'm gonna take a little bit of orange because I can easily hide that with other color there. Alright, so I'm gonna put my colors right here, brushes right here. That's how I like it. Alright, so I'm gonna leave, let's say, maybe this much of space, like about 6 inches from the top. And I'm just gonna add a little line here. Doesn't have to be too straight. This is just gonna, you know, give you an idea. Okay, there. This is all gonna be my sky on the top. Everything else on the bottom is gonna be water. And the other thing, I'm gonna show you later what I'm gonna add there. But this is where I'm gonna come down for my sky. Alright, so I'm gonna clean my brush because I don't want any orange on top of my sky. So I'm gonna start working from the top and slowly work my way down. Alright, so now the first thing I'm gonna do is apply a little bit of blue. Now I'm gonna use lighter blue here. So I'm gonna take a little bit of blue on one side of my brush, like tiny little paint. Always try to take less paint. When you are painting something, you can always add more if you feel like you want to. I really hate wasting my paint sometimes, you know, so I'm just gonna take a little bit of blue and a lot of white. So less blue, more white. If it's too dark, I can always make it darker. But sometimes it's hard to make it lighter, and you just have to keep adding more and more white, or any color you want to make it, any color that will make your paint lighter. And let's say I'm gonna start working from left and right, back and forth. Now since I'm using a panel, I don't have to worry about the edges, but if you are painting on like a framed canvas, make sure you do the edges also as you're painting. Okay, I'm gonna cover almost like half of my top of my sky here with this color, like maybe a little bit less than that. Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit more white and just a tiny little blue again, and I'm really adding more paint here. Okay, now I'm just gonna take some white, only white, and I'm gonna cover almost everything on the bottom, like maybe, you know, this much of area. What this is gonna do is help us to blend the next color that we're gonna use. And trust me, I'm adding some white here. I know it's hard to see this, but I am just adding white. Okay, now the next color I'm gonna use is yellow color. So I'm just gonna take like tiny layer yellow on tip of my brush and just gonna add it right here. Okay, just trying to add all the way on this area. Also adding this yellow on top of this area here where I add the white. I'm gonna make this painting a very colorful painting, so just in case if you don't like to use any of this color, you don't really have to. You can use any color you like here. The next color I'm gonna use is orange. So I'm not cleaning my brush. I barely have like any paint on my brush. So do you see how I'm rubbing it here? But I have no paints there. Alright, now I'm just gonna take like tiny little orange. I'm gonna do the same thing, but I'm randomly going on some area. Okay, like that. Alright, now I'm just gonna apply this everywhere like that and blending it with the yellow. Now I'm not gonna take any more water here, but I'm gonna take a little bit of white because I don't want too dark orange here. So I take a little bit of white and just blending it with this orange. Okay, now I'm gonna blend all of this area. This time I'm gonna use a little different technique. I'm not going left and right. You can keep it simple if you like, but let me show you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take a little bit of white, and all I'm gonna do is go in a circular motion. So something like this. Also gonna go a little bit on the blue area here. Okay, same thing on the other side here. This color might turn a little bit peach color, which is good. That's what I'm going for. Okay, I'm gonna take more white. I'm gonna keep doing that, and this is really gonna add a different shades of this peach, orange, and the yellow here. Basically, I'm just adding like a clouds, you can say. All right, so yeah, you can also use a different brush if you like, but I'm just gonna use this brush. Okay, I'm gonna use a little bit of more yellow here. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just taking like tiny little yellow. Okay. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go left and right down here. Just going left and right, and I'm gonna cover everything on the bottom with just the white. Okay, and just like I did right here, I'm just gonna apply a little bit of yellow. Okay, and then some orange. Very less orange. I take a lot of orange here, so I'm gonna clean my brush. Make sure you, whenever you clean your brush, make sure you like clean it and dry it. I like to use my finger. All right, so yeah, I'm just gonna go on this area, take my orange and just apply it like that. Okay, now I'm just gonna go in a circular motion like that and just blending all together. Now I'm also gonna use like one more color here, and the next color is I'm gonna use pink. All right, now same thing. I'm just gonna take like tiny little pink. If you took too much, it's okay. Just clean your brush. All right, so as you can see, barely have like anything here. And first I'm gonna add some lines like this. Okay, some of this color right here. Okay, now I'm gonna blend it all together again. So I feel like I need to add more, but always take your paint little by little, remember? Okay, just maybe a little bit more paint. Okay, same thing here. Okay, I'm really making it like nice and messy. I don't know if you can tell, but all right, I'm just gonna clean my brush one more time, and I'm gonna add a little bit yellow. Now for this, I'm gonna use my small brush, my favorite small tiny little brush. Make sure you take a little bit of water take a little bit of water first. Make sure you just dry it a little bit, and I'm just gonna take yellow, and I'm gonna add like a nice sun here. Let's say maybe right here. Okay, I'm gonna make it a little bit more bigger. I don't want to make it too small. Okay, I think this is still very small, but I'm gonna make it bigger. And on this yellow, I'm also gonna add some white. So I don't want my yellow to be too bright yellow, so that's why I'm using some white. Okay, and I'm just gonna make my sun a little bit more bigger. Okay, this is perfect. It's up to you. You can make it bigger, smaller. Now what I like to do is get a little messy, and I'm gonna use my finger. All right, so I'm just gonna go on my sun to just, go around on it. It still looks so yellowish. I'm gonna let it dry, and then I can go back, add more white if I feel like I want to. But for now, that's all I'm gonna do. Let me clean my brush. I'm sorry, let me clean my hands. Okay. Alright. Now, I'm gonna take my same brush one more time. And I'm gonna use white color. Alright, and I'm gonna go on some area here to just, you know, add a little bit more touch of white for the clouds. So basically I'm just going around here, overlapping that sun. Okay, same thing I'm gonna do on just very random space. You can just add a straight line and just, you know, make sure you cover just a little bit of your sun here. Okay, I'm just gonna take more white and just going around this area here. Just blending with the color I have it in the background. Not to worry about if it's too dark or too light, you know. Just a little touch of white there. Same thing, maybe a little bit right here. Okay, maybe a little bit here. Okay, I'm almost done with this because I really don't want to overdo this. Alright, I'm also gonna just go one more time on top of this area, on the blue area here. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do. Now I'm gonna just clean my brush here, and I'm gonna work on the border down here. Alright, so for that I'm gonna use my round brush. Okay, now if you want to use this brush, go for it. I'm just gonna use my round brush. Now I feel like I really want to go on the sky here very quickly. Now just want to make the top of the sky a little bit more darker than what I have here. So just gonna go very slowly like that on just top of my canvas. I'm not using a lot of water, just on the top here. Okay, just a little bit of water, a little bit of paint. Okay, that's good. Alright, now I'm just gonna bring it this little bit down and just blending it all together. For that, I'm not gonna use a lot of paint. I'm just gonna use water. Okay. Just slowly bringing this all paint down a little bit, not touching the clouds I have there. That's all I'm gonna do. Okay, so I'm gonna work on the water now. Let me clean my brush. Alright, so now I'm gonna start adding my water from here. I'm gonna come all the way down to maybe this much of area, like. Alright, so the first thing I'm gonna do is add the darker blue. So I'm gonna take my dark blue here. Again, this dark blue is this one right here. All right, and yeah, I'm just gonna add one line right here. Okay, I like to use a little bit of water just for this part. So I'm gonna dip my brush in my water just one time. Okay, make sure you don't have dripping water. Make sure you just let that water go away like that. Just tap also if you like. And just take your paint just a little bit and then just go on that area where you want to add a line, a sharp edge for this blue. Okay, now as you can see, it's not a straight line. You don't need a straight line here, right? Okay, I'm just gonna cover maybe an inch from here. Okay, I'm all done with this brush. That's all I'm gonna do. Now I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna use my big brush again. So I always like to, clean my brush and just put it on side. Okay, and I'm gonna use my big brush now. Again, make sure you clean it, dry it. You don't really want to use a lot of water here. All right, now I'm gonna start adding this light blue color I have. Okay, and all I'm gonna do is just go left and right like that, really trying to cover all of the white space I have. Now as I'm going, I'm gonna also use a white color here, so I'm gonna use a little bit of white, just adding some white, blending this a little bit. I'm not gonna blend too much, to be honest. I'm just gonna leave it like that because I really want to see a little bit of, a little bit of white there. So I'm just gonna add a little bit darker now. So make some area darker, some area lighter. Okay, and then I'm gonna take my light blue here. Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of water, not too much, just tiny little. Okay, and just some white, maybe a lot of white. Okay, you can also just, cover the edges. And then blend it all together like that. So again, I'm gonna just maybe stop right here. Okay, the next color I'm gonna use is green. Now I really want to make it like, a turquoisey color here. So I'm gonna clean my brush because I really don't want to use a lot of blue because I already have enough blue here on my painting. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my green color here. So I'm gonna use white and green. So I'm gonna take a little bit of green on one side of my brush and a lot of white. All right, now I already have the blue here, so you don't have to take any more blue. I'm just gonna go right on top of this blue area here. Do you see how this looks like now? Almost like a turquoisey shade. I love this color. Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit more white. If you want to make this color lighter, you can take more white. If you want to make it more darker, you have to take more green. All right, so I'm gonna come all the way down to, let's say, maybe here. All right, that's all I'm gonna do. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add some more blue, some more white, but this time we're not gonna blend it too much. All right, so I'm gonna start with the white here. Actually, I'm gonna start with the darker blue first. Just taking a little bit of paint like that and just, adding some blue like that. Just gonna go like a couple times maybe on each area because I really don't want to blend it too much. Okay, I'm not going too much on this area down here. I'm going mostly with this dark blue on top of this area. Okay, now I'm gonna go with the white. Okay, same thing. I'm gonna start from the bottom this time. Okay, you might have to take more paint. You don't have to use one type of a brush strokes. You can just go a little bit like that, or maybe like that. You know, you really want some movement on your water. I'm not too worried about this area or this area down here because I'm gonna cover that with some other things. Alright, now I'm just gonna add some white also down here. So I'm making it as light as I can. Maybe I'm gonna add a little bit of green because this almost looks like a too bluish, so I need more white here. So I'm gonna take my white paint, all right, and then I'm just gonna clean my brush on the side of my brush by dabbing it like that. Okay, and then now let's see, maybe I'm just gonna add that nice big wave or that's coming from here. So I'm just gonna add like dab like that, just curving that down a little bit, and also turning my brush like that as I'm dabbing because I don't want this to go on the one area. Okay, so something like that. Now this is not the perfect way to do it, but this is how I like to do it. This just makes it easier for me to do it this way. There are so many ways you can add your waves, but there is no right or wrong way to do this. If you want to use maybe a small brush, go for it. Alright, now I'm also gonna do the same thing, but I'm gonna add a little smaller waves. So let's say maybe right here. Okay, same thing, I'm gonna do it. I'm just looking for the little curve I have here. So did you see I had little curve right there? So that's where I started, you know, adding that white. Now I also have little curve maybe just right here. So I'm just gonna make this area look like that. Okay, so yeah, that's all I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna overdo this. Now I'm just gonna add more white down here. Okay, so basically I'm just adding a line like this. I'm barely like touching my canvas and adding this white. Okay, I'm just gonna add more. You can also let this dry a little bit if you feel like it's blending too much and you don't feel like it looks like white too much. All right, now I'm gonna bring this paint a little bit more down. So there's a little like, you know, walkway or whatever you wanna call it. You can just walk down on the beach area right here. So this is where you can go in. Okay, I'm just adding some blue. Oh, I'm sorry, white. But because I have some blue on my brows, it's gonna look like blue. Okay, I hope you can see this. Yeah, you can. Okay. All right, I always have to make sure you know what I'm doing here, and I hope it's coming on the video here. So yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and add some more white like that. I'm also gonna cover all of this area with this color a little bit. Okay, I'm just gonna hold my panel. Now, if you're painting on an easel, it might be easier, especially when you are painting on a panel like this. And if you don't have an easel, it's okay. You can just work slowly, work on the sky first, let it dry, so that way you can also hold your panel right here if you want to, if you need to. All right, so I also cover everything on the bottom with this light blue color here. All right, now I'm gonna make the sand color. Now, do you know how to make the sand color? I forgot to add some brown on my paper plate, so let me do that. So I'm gonna use this burnt umber, but it's brown. So I'm just gonna take my brown here, white, and a little bit of orange, like tiny little orange. That's all, and I'm gonna mix it all together. Now, if you want a darker sand, you need to use more brown, and if you want your sand lighter, you need to use more white, but don't use too much orange. Okay, so this is my sand color. Now basically I have a little walkway, or this, I have some sand down here, so I'm just gonna add this color like this, just going like that. Okay, and slowly blending this with the color I have right here, keeping the brush strokes like that. Okay, so something like this. Now I'm also gonna add some white here. I'm not cleaning my brush, I'm just gonna add some white. Okay, I'm gonna let this area dry a little bit, and then I'm gonna come back and add some more of this color here. So I'm gonna also take a little bit of this color and add it just on the blue area also here. Okay, and I'm just gonna use some brown, just a brown, and doing the same thing. Not really adding a lot of brown, but just want to make some area a little bit more darker. Okay, and I'm gonna clean my brush, and I'm also gonna add some yellow. Make sure you clean it, nicely dry it. Okay, and then I'm just gonna use some yellow here. Same thing, I'm just gonna use my brush like that. Okay, I don't want to add too much, but this is all I'm gonna add, and I'm gonna move on to my next color and next thing here. So let me clean this brush, put it on side. I'm done with this big brush here. So I'm gonna use this brush, round brush. This is number 6 size, and I'm gonna go back on this area and just add a little bit more white here on this yellow. So okay, all right, I'm gonna clean my brush, and now I can start adding some other details here. So I really want to add some rocks on this painting, so I'm gonna use my brown color. Okay, and I'm also using a little bit of water here because I really want a sharp edges for the rocks. All right, now if you want to use your small brush, you can definitely use a small brush here. And let's say I'm gonna add a nice big rock, maybe right here. Okay, so I have a little rock here. Maybe it's almost like this big size. And I'm just gonna fill everything inside. I don't want to make it too dark, so that's why I'm using a little bit of water here. Okay, and I'm just gonna add some more rocks in the back. I'm just gonna, you know, it just looked like a one rock, but there's like two rocks here. One is behind the big one. Okay, and sometimes it's hard to see what I'm doing when I have a lot of lights around. All right, so that's good. Now I also have like a little small rock, let's say maybe right here. Oopsie. Okay, I also have some rocks, maybe just everywhere around the sand here. Okay, and I'm also gonna use the tip of my brush. It's very pointy, so I can barely, like, you know, just touch my canvas and add this type of little dots. Now if you want to use a small brush, go for it. I don't want my sand to look so perfect and, you know, so clean, so that's why I'm just adding some rocks here. So, you know, that's why you have to be very careful when you are walking on the beach. All right, so I'm almost done. Okay, I'm not too worried about this yet. I'm gonna go back and add more white there. So this is all I'm gonna do. Okay, all right, so now I'm gonna add a different color here now on my rocks, so that way you can see the lights and the shadows and everything here. So now I'm gonna use my white color, just a white paint. I'm not cleaning my brush, and I'm just gonna add a little touch of white on just top of my rock here. So now you can see the light is coming from here, the shadow is on the back here. All right, and I'm gonna do the same thing with this right here. Okay, I'm not too worried about the back here, so I'm just gonna keep adding more white. Okay, there is my second one. Now you can see the difference here. Okay, I'm not too worried about how this looks like because I'm gonna add a lot of grass and some flowers and a lot of other things there. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this white maybe a little bit more down. Okay, I'm just adding more white, more texture on this rock. Alright, that's all I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna go back one more time just for this smaller rock I have here, just going on the tip of the top of this rock here. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna clean my brush, and I'm gonna show you one more thing. Alright, so I'm gonna clean my brush. Now I'm not gonna take any more paint here, and you have to do this while your rocks are still wet. The paint is still wet. Make sure you don't have too much water on your brush. Nice and dry. And I'm gonna go under my rocks and just kind of smooth out all of these edges, because remember, this is all the shadows, so it's not perfect. You don't have to really worry about how this looks like under the shadow. All right, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna clean my brush. All right, now I'm gonna use some dark green here. So here's my green. I'm using my same brush. All right, and I'm gonna add some green down here. So basically I'm just gonna add my green like this, and I'm gonna make it nice and dark. Okay, now I'm gonna add some flowers, some more greens here, and I also have a little darker green area right here also. All right, and same thing on the other side. Now let's say maybe I'm gonna cover almost this much of area. Okay, I'm just randomly just adding that here. Okay, now do you remember how we did this under these rocks? I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna go very lightly. Make sure you don't have too much paint on your brush. Make sure you clean it, dry it. Okay, and just use a dry brush under that area. Okay, same thing for this area here. Now you don't have to worry about this area because nothing is there. Alright, so now I am gonna use my other brush. So I'm done with my round brush. Alright, and I'm gonna use, let's say, my small brush. Okay, I don't think so I'm gonna use this brush. This is number 2 size. I did not use that brush. So I'm gonna start with the lighter green here. Actually, I'm gonna start with the darker green first. So all I'm gonna do is add some grass coming from bottom to up. Okay, like that. You can make some of them a little taller, some of them a little shorter. Make sure you cross them. Also use maybe a drop of water. This will help you to get the sharp lines. Don't forget to cross them. Okay, I really am trying to hide the shape of this area I have here because I don't want to see that. So I'm adding as many lines as I can. So this part might take a little time. Really making some of them are like nice and tall. Some of them are like very thick, some of them are like very small. Okay, same thing for this area right here. Making some of them a little bit more taller, bigger. Okay, I'm using like very light pressure. Same thing I'm gonna do for this one right here. So I'm just gonna add like some water here because I'm gonna use a lot of water for this part. So, and I'm just mixing it with my paint. Okay, same thing again. Just making it a little bit smaller for this one because I don't want to cover all of my rocks I have here. So just making some of them a little bit more taller, more bigger. Okay, now same thing I'm gonna do with this one right here. So I'm gonna let this dry a little bit because everything is still too wet and I don't want to ruin my rocks. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to my next color, which is adding some light green. Alright, so I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna add a drop of water. I'm also gonna add a little bit of yellow here because I don't wanna make both of these green looks almost the same, because let me show you. If I add this green, it's almost looks the same. There is not a big difference. So I'm gonna make my green a little bit more lighter. This took me some time because I'm using my small brush. Alright, so same thing I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna start from bottom, bring my paint up. Now I really don't want to hide that darker green I have there, so I'm not gonna go too crazy like I did with my dark green there. So this time I really want to cover some of this darker area on the bottom too. So I'm just gonna start from bottom, all the way bottom, and going up. Okay, so again, I'm just starting from bottom, bringing my paint up. Some of them are starting from top, maybe right here. Okay, same thing for this one. Okay, I don't want to add too much. And same thing for this one. Okay, that's good. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing with this one here. So I'm just gonna use my dark green first, and I'm gonna apply some on top of this area here. Some of them are going all the way on the sky here. Okay, and just adding some small ones right here. Okay, now I'm gonna do the same thing for this one right here. Now here I'm gonna add like very small ones, not too large, not too big one, maybe a couple of them, but you know, not really a lot. Okay, I'm just gonna take my dark green and just kind of place this just right here. Okay, same thing for this one. Alright, same thing with this light green. Okay, that's good. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna go back with some more dark green and just kind of dabbing on this bottom of that, all the lines that I add here. So I'm just gonna make it more darker right there. Okay, I'm just gonna bring this a little bit more down to maybe here. So I'm just gonna add more lines. Okay, for me it's hard to stop, so this is where maybe I'm gonna stop right here. All right, and I maybe wanna just add more green right there. Okay, it looks like it's so spiky. All right, that's good. All right, I'm just gonna clean my brush. And now it's my favorite part to add some flowers. Okay, so I'm gonna use my same brush for the flowers. And before I add my flowers, I'm gonna go back on this area and add more white. And for that, I'm just gonna use my small brush. Let me clean this paint. I'm almost done, so here I'm gonna take some white. And basically, I'm just gonna add more white right here. So I'm gonna add my white like this. So I'm gonna add like line first. I'm gonna go back like 1 or 2 times. Since I'm using a small brush, it's not gonna look like I'm taking too much. It's not gonna look like I'm taking too much paint here or applying too much paint. Okay. Just gonna add some more right here. Same thing I'm gonna do with the brown. Some brown maybe right here. Okay, and then I'm gonna clean my brush. I'm gonna go back. Just make it a little bit lighter because that was too dark. Just taking a little bit of water. That will help you to make it lighter. Okay, and I'm also gonna use some more white. And also some blue. So I'm gonna use like light blue and some white. So I'm making my light blue more lighter. Okay, so maybe more right there. So it's almost gonna look like this is all too like, you know, blending all together, and it's gonna look more like some of these area have also a little bit of water there. Okay, I'm not too worried about this green here, so don't worry. Okay, I'm gonna also use a little bit of green, but now not that green. I'm gonna use like a little bit turquoise. See shade, I have this here, so I'm gonna make that color. I'm taking green, a little bit of white, and a little bit of blue. Okay, now it's not gonna be the same as I have here, but almost gonna be similar. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna use. Okay, so now on this area, I almost use all the colors that I use on a whole painting. So okay, I think I love this. All right, now that's where I'm gonna stop. Now I can start adding some flowers. So let me just clean my brush. And you can add any type of flowers you like. I'm just gonna go very randomly and add the shape of this flower, because there is no perfect shape for this flower here. All right, so I'm gonna use this pink I have. Now I'm I'm gonna use 2 shades of pink. I'm gonna start with this color first, and then I'm gonna add some lighter pink. Alright, so I'm just gonna take my pink and adding some bigger flowers here first. So something like this. Okay. Okay, so there are like 4 petals or 4 petals on this flower, but you cannot see the perfect shape. Okay, so I'm just randomly adding this. Okay, I'm trying not to use water here because sometimes if I use a lot of water, the paint don't really stick, especially for this type of flowers. So I'm adding a little bit less on the bottom area here and more on the top. So one on. So just maybe a couple more here maybe, and then I'm gonna add some light pink. Alright, so I'm just gonna add the white to my pink, and this almost looks like a purple color for some reason, I don't know why. Alright, so this is the color I'm gonna use. It almost looks like a purple. Alright, so same thing. I'm just gonna add like a line or 2 on that darker flower. It needs one more color here, so let me clean my brush and I'm gonna add some orange. Alright, so same thing like I did with this pink, I mean the rose pink, that was the name of this paint. Alright, so let me start with this one down here, because if I don't like it I can just not do that, but I like it. Alright, so just basically adding some lines like that. You know, you cannot see the Okay, I'm just gonna go back with one more thing with this darker color, darker green, around the bottom of this area right here. Okay, I really want to make it a little bit more messier than how it is right now. Okay, that's better. Alright, so yeah, that's all I'm gonna do with this painting. I'm gonna do one more thing here. So I'm gonna clean my brush and I'm just gonna add a little touch of white on my sun right here. Alright, so just gonna take tiny little white and I'm just gonna place it right here. Now my paint is very thin, so once this white dry, it's not gonna be too white. It's just gonna be a little bit white. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go back and just dab on that area just to make it a little bit more lighter yellow here. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do. As you can see, I just had like one line on the top. I did not add anything on the bottom there. Okay, so just a couple more things I'm gonna do, maybe 1 or 2. So I'm just gonna add some more dots around where I have flowers, because that will makes it my painting complete. Because if you saw my other paintings, I always like to do that. So for that I'm gonna use my white color and the colors that I use for the flowers too. So basically I'm just gonna, you know, add the dots like that, like some cluster of the dots. Okay, I'm not gonna go like too crazy, but I really want to fill all of this area with some more things going around here, so you still be able to see the green. Alright, now I'm just gonna do the same thing with the blue, and I think I'm gonna use some water because my paint are very thick. It's a very good paint, so if you want to check those out, I have also link for that paint that I'm using, so just in case, you know. I'm adding more darker paint on the bottom. And just very less of this darker paint on the top. Alright, that's all I'm gonna do. Alright, so yeah, I'm all done with this painting. I hope you guys all have fun painting with me, and if you do, don't forget to give a big thumbs up and also like this video, and I will see you next time for another painting or maybe a DIY. So yeah, thank you so much for painting. I'll see you next time. Bye.